All right, hey, this is Scott Garibay, and today I am going to be specifically talking about the Green Rad deal, right? Now, what is the Green Rad deal? Well, the Green Rad deal is my deal that I am proposing, that I've built, that any Democrat can take and run with. And the reason why is the Green New Deal just fell apart, right? So 2 days ago, because the Democrats would not bring the Green New Deal to vote on the Senate floor, the Republicans brought it with the Democrats, right? And they forced it to a vote. It was an absolute slaughter. Like it was bad, man. Was it bad? So it was 57-0. It was 54 Republicans voting no, 3 Democrats voting no, and 43 Democrats voting present. Not one single Democrat senator would stand up for climate change when the Green New Deal came up for a vote. That is incredible. And it was surprising to many people because a lot of people really thought that climate change was the number one issue for Democrats. But now we found it's just an issue. It's just one of the issues on their slate. It's not that super important. It's not an emergency. It's more like an urgency, right? So we know that, right? And that's good to know for the Democrats, like that they're like, yes, we are concerned about climate change. It's an urgency issue. It's not an emergency issue. There was a lot of questions about that, and the people genuinely didn't know because there was so much being said. But the vote the other day told it very clearly that the Democrats, climate change is an issue. They're not forgetting it. It's important to them, but it's an urgency issue. It is not a emergency issue, okay? Now, I, Scott Garibay, I'm concerned about climate change. I think we should do what we can to make our planet more habitable and to make sure that our carbon emissions are going down, right? So I have built the Green Rad deal, right? It's radical, it's cool, it's rad, just like it was in the 80s. The BMX movie Rad, that kind of rad, right? All right, so here it is. And according to what you need to win elections, it is simple, it is shocking, it is exciting, and it is new, right? All those things. And I think if you're going to speak to people nowadays, you've got to do this. You've got to make what you're saying all of those things, right? Okay. So what is the Green Rad deal? Well, it's very simple. We're going to push it forward. So here's what you do for the Green Rad deal, right? So for the Green Rad deal, basically it's the following: mass drivers 2025, Mars colony 2030, Mars City 2035, okay? Now, this I think is a really strong, real Green Rad deal, right? It gives us a cleaner planet. And so here's how it works, right? First thing you're going to do is you're going to put a mass driver in every single state in America, right? Now, what a mass driver is essentially a cannon that you drill into the ground, and we're just going to shoot our trash, right, straight into the sun. Right? The sun will easily burn that stuff up. There's absolutely no one out there to disturb, right? It's going to work great. And guess what? There's no guarantee of jobs. There's just an entrepreneurial spirit that actually will provide jobs, because drilling a massive cannon into the ground in every single state is going to require a lot of people. And it's going to require people with very specific skills and with very general skills, right? If you're just a hard worker, you're going to have a job digging that tunnel, right? Like if you are really good at math, we're going to need you there as well, right? So we put a major source of trash removal, and we put it into the sun. It'll burn up. There's no problem, right? And we cannot even remotely generate enough trash, to cause a problem at the level of the sun. We're using the resources we have in a smart and beneficial way, right? So mass drivers, 2025. National network of those suckers by 2025, right? And you do it all with private companies contracting to get that work. There's jobs in every single state immediately, right? Very helpful, very good, very beneficial. All right, now, Mars colony 2030, right? Now, why do we need a Mars colony? Well, here's the thing. All right, right now, I think the reason why the Green New Deal failed is people understand what Democrats are really saying about climate change. They're saying, live like a peasant, right? Stop eating cheeseburgers and eat yogurt, right? Stop using your baller SUV and your baller muscle car and start driving an electric hoopty, right? And then also they're saying, hey, your sister who lives in California and you live in Miami, bye-bye, no more visits, right? You can't be hauling your heavy butt, which is going to be a lot of carbon emission by plane, train, or automobile. Everything, your food is less, your transportation is less, your joy of life is less, right? Now, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We know that. It's super clear now. Not a single Democrat, when push came to shove, nobody actually said, well, you've been talking about doing less, but the reality is we don't want to be telling you to do less, right? So, and I agree. I don't want to live a lesser life. I want to live like a king. I want my wife to live like a queen. I want every American to live like a king or a queen the way we do today, right? And more, right? So but we can't keep doing that here on this planet without some way of reducing our carbon emission. Well, here you go, right? If we put a colony on Mars, that is going to be less human beings on this planet, right? And then the people on Mars, they can get their own muscle cars and they can eat their own cheeseburgers, and they can go from the Mars craters to the Mars face, right? They don't have to live like peasants. They can live like kings and queens on Mars. And when they're doing that, we're going to have less people on Earth because they're being transported up to Mars, right? Starting in 2025. We'll get to the city in a minute, right? But immediately, when you have the colony, you're going to have less people on Earth. That is going to be the beginning of transporting people en masse to Mars and possibly other planets. When we get Mars worked out, So the colony is the start of that, right? Where you really see people moving en masse to Mars is in, mass drivers in 2025, Mars colony in 2030, Mars city in 2035. That's where you really get people moving by the millions to Mars, right? And have them living on Mars, right? And that's a good, solid way. We live more, they live more, and the reason why is they have an entire planet to live like kings and queens the way we should as Americans, right? And in addition to that, America needs more frontier land. We are a frontier nation. We love to, we've already taken the world, essentially. We've taken, in America, we have lots of great land, and our property is, it's just more and more valuable all the time. And we've really taken the world by storm with our entertainment and our style and our cool, right? We've already taken this world, right? We need new worlds to take. That's just the nature of America, right? So any Democrat can bring this forward. So let's talk about the city. So once you get the cities there, the city proves a lot of things. One, you can make as many cities as you want on Mars. There's tons of them, lots of room for millions and millions and millions of Earthlings to be moved up to there. And guess what? When they move up there, it is going to be hard, right? They're going to have a little less to begin with, right? Not much. It's not going to take long. And so what will they get? Well, you're right. You're going to be eating potatoes, right? But the reality is, right now, we got people singing and dancing on super awesome rap musical plays about our founding fathers, and you will be the founding fathers and the founding mothers of Mars, right? So you're going to have more, right? Right now, most people, nobody's going to be singing and dancing and making rap plays about them. That's, it's not happening. But you go to Mars, you're a founding father, you're a founding mother. Those people are going to be special citizens that will be heralded for centuries to come, right? We can send them there by the millions, right? And they can and the other thing is we can we can create new ways for Americans to live on these countries, right? On those Mars cities, right? We can adjust their laws a little bit, give them maybe some more freedoms, things that we can't do here. Maybe they can do there, right? We can make a new constitution just for Mars citizens, right? That would be really cool, really awesome. We could take millions and millions of Americans, and this also solves major migration problems. We say, hey, listen, we can't let you come into the U.S. We already have a program for that, and it's not fulfilling all the requests, right? So if you have a request and it's not being fulfilled, we will take you up to America's land on Mars, right? So it solves migrant issues. It allows everybody to live like kings and queens, right? Nobody has to live like a peasant. Nobody's always scrambling to live less. No one is feeling guilty simply because they took the time to see their family in another state. Like, that's the problem with climate change. That's why not a single Democrat senator would stand up for the Green New Deal, because they know nobody wants to tell an American you can't go see Sally in California because you're heavy and it's going to take all that carbon emission, whether you take a plane, train, or automobile, right? It's not cool, right? So the Green Rad deal it goes straight to all of America's best strengths, right? We build like crazy. We have amazing tech, and if anybody thinks that any of this stuff can't be done, you don't know what you're talking about, right? All in 1963, I think, maybe 61, 62, right? John F. Kennedy just pointed at the moon, and we got there with absolute scrub tech, right? Going to the Mars with what we got now, the technology we have now, it's a hop, skip, and a jump, man. We have 50 years of amazing technology, right, that we can now finally leverage for a real good. So this is a real solution. It allows people to live in the awesome way that we've become accustomed to living in America, living like kings and queens, and now allowing others to live like kings and queens on other planets. And it doesn't demand from the next generation that they live with less, which is not a fair request, right? So this is a very awesome, very cool way to solve a very real problem, right? And so I think the Green Rad deal, I'm offering it up to Elizabeth Warren and Andrew Yang and Marianne Williamson and, who else is in there? Cory Booker, right? I think those are the hot candidates. The rest of you can't have it. Right? Like, I don't think you're going to go anywhere. But I think the real election is happening with the people I just talked about, right? And they've got to. There are some planning meetings right now to determine exactly what they do about this Green New Deal thing. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think. What do you think of the Green Rad deal, right? Which one of the Democrat candidates should take that, right? Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful millennium.